The trial for former Brooklyn Center police officer Kimberly Potter has been set for December 6th. This just was announced this afternoon as she made an appearance in court with her attorney, Earl Gray. Now, this is Monday afternoon after some meaningful legislation was passed by the Brooklyn Center City Council this weekend, and it was inspired by that fatal moment when she said that she mistook her gun for her taser.
Dante was a son, a father, a cousin, and a friend to many. We are with his family. We are also heartbroken, and our entire community is mourning with his family. As I've spent time with Dante's family, I've come to learn, even through their grief, just how strong, resilient, and loving they are.
35 days after the death of Dante Wright, the city of Brooklyn Center moved forward on some kind of police reform. Yet here we are 8 days away from the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd, and Minneapolis is struggling to figure out what direction they should move. You have people on one end of the spectrum who say defund the police, and you have others who say that the police department is grossly understaffed after massive walkouts following George Floyd. And as a result, some people say that due to the fact that that police department is understaffed, we're seeing this uptick in gun violence, specifically in North Minneapolis, which back in the 90s was dubbed as Murderapolis. Today, Mayor Jacob Frey continued to ensure his constituents that he's working with the governor and other state officials to move forward on policy changes regarding police accountability. But meanwhile, he took the afternoon to address the uptick in gun violence. Take a listen.
This year alone, not even at the halfway point, 19 children have been struck by gunfire. Countless more have been traumatized through exposure. There have been 27 homicides. This is not acceptable. The work has been underway. But this needs to be a turning point right now for our city.
Mayor Jacob Frey invited Sandra Samuels, President and CEO of Northside Achievement Zone, to speak on this issue as well. Her organization is headquartered right in the center of all of the gun violence. And she says that her organization was even hit with bullets a few weeks ago, and their windows were destroyed. They had to board up their organization. Sandra Samuels sees the issue differently. She believes that the police department needs to be fully staffed in order to quell the ongoing gun violence.
I am going to say the name because the protesters aren't here saying the name of Trinity, who was shot in the head on my block down the street from my house Saturday night, 8 years old. I'm saying her name. Where are the other people? I guess we're not saying her name because a white police officer didn't shoot her in the head. I'm saying LaDavion's name because LaDavion, a 10-year-old at 35th and Morgan, got shot in the head. Maybe we're not saying his name. Maybe we're not marching. Maybe we're not demanding change because a white police officer did not assault. But let me tell you, that has to stop. I'm talking both and. That has to stop. We can't have any more Chauvins, and nor can we have the level of community violence that we are seeing right now.
Now, my heart is broken for the families who have been impacted by the gun violence in North Minneapolis. I can't imagine as a parent myself what it would feel like to know that your 9-year-old daughter was simply playing in the yard and was hit with a stray bullet during a birthday party. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
We're here because we're standing and we're saying the rhetoric around defund has gotten us to where we are today. We can do both and. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. Every single police officer is not Officer Chauvin. The chief is not Officer Chauvin. John Elder is not Officer Chauvin. If we haven't noticed, we have to cut the games out because our babies are dying. We need a fully staffed police department and a transformed police department that also has services and supports that the mayor talked about.
And I also am concerned about us in our community being divided on these issues and comparing police violence to community violence. While they're both significant, while they both need to be solved, I think that they're very, very, very different issues that have very, very different root causes. And while protesting may be an effective measure to get the attention of political and state officials to move on this issue, I don't know what the tactic would be behind using protesting as a method to end gun violence. I think that we don't need to get people's attention on the issue of gun violence. I think that there are certain resources that need to be brought forth in this community to quell the gun violence. And I think that potentially there's a level of intervention that needs to happen. Thank you for listening to The Georgia Fort Show. Become a supporter at georgiafort.com.